One of the less known things about Jeffrey Epstein is his obsession with his DNA, specifically talking about his Ashkenazi DNA and how it's superior to other types of ancestry. This is coming from Maria Farmer, Jeffrey Epstein's first victim. I had the pleasure of speaking with Maria Farmer on an X Space last year, and she also did an interview previously on Jeffrey Epstein's obsession with his DNA and his DNA haplogroup. Take a listen to this, and we'll dissect it once at a time.
I wasn't allowed to go get food. And when I called Ghislaine and asked why I couldn't eat there, she said, it's a Jewish country club. You're not Jewish. They're not going to serve you. This is how this woman spoke to me. Yeah, this is how these people think, Whitney. They, honest to God, think their DNA is better than everybody else's. I swear to you. It was a theme all the time with them. With Eileen Guggenheim, with, Jeffrey Epstein, with Ghislaine. It was a theme. Jeffrey was a lot less horrible than Ghislaine as far as a human being, like just being around, because she was raping just as many children.
So the country club, you weren't allowed to go because it was only for, people of a certain religion
Jewish
and
people.
Ethnicity. Okay, so
that's
unfortunate.
Let's just stop there and kind of chat a little bit about everything that was said. First off, when I spoke to Maria Farmer on an X Space last year, I asked her about this because she brought it up again. And I asked her specifically, when you talk about Jeffrey Epstein believing he's a supremacist, Maria, what do you mean? And Maria Farmer would then tell me, and she's still on Twitter. You can go and find her Twitter. She might be private now. She speaks heavily against Zionism now. And she would tell me that he would mock her for being white. Jeffrey Epstein would mock Maria Farmer and tell her that her European ancestry is beneath him. This is Jeffrey Epstein. If you look at Jeffrey Epstein, if most people look at Jeffrey Epstein, you'd be like, well, that's Jeffrey Epstein's a white guy. But Jeffrey Epstein didn't term himself white. He didn't identify as white. And when he spoke to one of his victims, he made her feel inferior because of her European ancestry. This is one of the most odd things throughout the entire Jeffrey Epstein. The more I learn about Jeffrey Epstein, specifically when speaking to Maria Farmer, she has colored eyes, she has blonde hair, clearly white skin. So understanding that Jeffrey Epstein felt like he was superior to her, and not specifically in this abstract way, and it was a very concrete way, specifically regarding his DNA. He talked about his haplogroup when I spoke to Maria Farmer. That she would tell me how he believed he had some, I can't remember which number, haplogroup, RB or something, some sort of haplogroup. And he was obsessed with his haplogroup and doing research on his DNA as to why he is more of a superior individual than her. Same thing with Ghislaine Maxwell. She would do the same thing. And she felt like she was always mocked and she was always ridiculed for being a white girl. This is the most shocking thing. The more you take a moment to think about that Jeffrey Epstein would be mocking white people because they're white, while most people would be like, okay, well, Jeffrey Epstein's also white. So there's something odd going on here. So that's the first thing I want to say. And I'll go ahead and play the rest of this so we can kind of just go through it. And again, as we're talking about this, since it is a sensitive subject for YouTube guidelines, I want to make it very clear. I'm talking about the ideology that Maria Farmer is discussing that Jeffrey Epstein had, Jeffrey Epstein exclusively. I'm not trying to make generalizations here. So let's go ahead and play the rest of this clip. I believe we're halfway through.
I wasn't allowed. You're nothing because you're not Jewish. You're stupid. You're useless, a useless white girl, a poor little peasant, just the things that I was called, I was just like, I believed it, because it was like a cult, the problem. Yeah, you wouldn't believe the way Jeffrey and Ghislaine spoke about African Americans. It was like, it made my skin crawl. Anybody who was not Jewish, and you're right about this, but the way they spoke about them, it was really horrifying. And it showed me a great deal about how these people truly believe that they're chosen to do something here. I don't know. It's unbelievable to me. And it was every one of them, the way they spoke. And one time I heard Isabel say to her mother, Eileen, Mommy, why do you call Maria a nobody? And she said, honey, Isabel, Maria is not a Jew. She is a nobody.
Crazy.
Well, it is worth
so you can see why for about 20 years.
That type of stuff I might actually include just because the Maxwell family has
you
ties
should include
to this
it.
group
You should include it.
What's it called? Chabad Ubavitch.
So that is absolutely shocking. So if anybody knows who this Isabel person is, by the way, let me know. I'll search it up in a little bit here. I'm curious to know who this Isabel lady is. If you want to listen to that again right here towards the end, she said that Isabel
wasn't allowed Maria nobody. One of them, the way they spoke.
We
and one time I heard Isabel say to her mother, Eileen, "Mommy, why do you call Maria a nobody?" And she said, "Honey, Isabel, Maria is not a Jew. She is a nobody."
That Isabel and Eileen, who are these people? My clueless to some well-known people, Isabel and Eileen Epstein. I'll be able to find it. So anyways, this is kind of this is the mindset of this people, and it's important to understand this because when we think about Jeffrey Epstein and what he was up to and all of the new information that's coming out today regarding Jeffrey Epstein's ties to Israeli intelligence, the way that they operate and the network of trafficking that they did with these young children, they did it because they believed that they could do it, because they felt there was no sort of moral guardrails there, because they felt like at least from what Maria Farmer is saying, he felt like he was above everybody. He felt like he could do it because he doesn't even count them as human. He thinks he's above them on a whole nother level. Now, people will say that, this is, he was racist. Personally, I think that goes beyond racism. Racism is specifically hating. I think that he genuinely viewed himself the way Maria Farmer is describing it, as he was one thing and they were a whole different species to him. They were just completely subhuman to him, beyond just some sort of standard racism where it's really just a genetic thing where he feels there's a huge genetic differential there. And that sort of supremacist ideology was ubiquitous, not just with him, but with Ghislaine Maxwell, their entire network. So now when you realize you have this elitist group that's operating in the United States, conducting this trafficking, pretty obvious now that the evidence is there for Israeli Mossad. It makes you think there are no moral guardrails. If they're willing to do that, they'll do anything. They will do anything because we're just little pawns for them. So understanding this and hearing this and learning more about what this lady went through is it's eye-opening for the average listener, because you're like, wow, I could have never in a million years would I have believed that he was this obsessed specifically with his DNA. And when this level of obsession led him to spending a lot of money on scientists doing research on his DNA haplogroup and research and doing more research. Specifically, some of you guys might have heard this this weird obsession he had with wanting to create a baby making farm in Mexico, I believe it was. So let's just go through some of the comments on X. This is again with the video. One of Jeffrey Epstein's victims exposed his operation as a disturbing system of Jewish supremacy, where she was segregated and treated as inferior. She recalled how Epstein's circle saw them as the chosen race and believing their DNA made them superior to others. And this is something I previously made on that. Let's see here. Epstein was Mossad. The evidence, former Israeli intelligence officer said Epstein ran a Mossad honeypot operation. Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell, was a Mossad spy. Maxwell's business partner, Charles Bronfman, a co-founder of the Mega Group. I'm going to be doing a Mega Group video later today, and I already made one previously as well. The Mega Group is an exclusive club of Jewish billionaires funding pro-Israel causes. Maria Farmer was the first victim to report Epstein and said his entire network was ran by supremacists who racially abused her, and the operation was led by the Mega Group. And it goes on and it just continues to talk about a lot of things that we'll talk about a little bit more in the next video. But this revelation, understanding the kind of mindset he had, was really the goal, was really the point of this video. Here's another clip actually as well. Let's see. This is Maria Farmer talking about Ghislaine Maxwell and her best friend Ivana Trump cruising schools. Oh, okay, so this video might be interesting to listen to.
online.
I'll go ahead and just play
on
the
TV, she was like a
little-
QVC queen.
Yeah. And
everybody knew what they were doing. Everybody who surrounded them knew exactly what they were doing.
And but how often? Did you go for rides often with her and Ivana? Or,
yes.
And would she pick up girls all the time?
Yes. She didn't bring them in the car. She would get their phone numbers.
Right.
But she would drive by schools.
Right. So
as they got out.
So would she?
Yeah.
And let's stop right there. So I also remember I did talk to Maria Farmer while I was on this X Space, and I asked her about Bill Clinton, because obviously Bill Clinton, especially the connection between Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein is it's pretty obvious at this point. And she said, and this is coming from her own words, so she has her own beliefs. She was obviously one of Jeffrey Epstein's first victims, so I give her a lot of credibility. And she said that Bill Clinton would actually go to Jeffrey Epstein's suite in New York, and he would go there specifically to see Ghislaine as well. And they had some sort of interesting relationship. I don't know the exact dynamics of it, but she made it seem like they had some sort of sexual relationship. And Bill Clinton was more interested in going to Jeffrey Epstein's place to see Ghislaine. So I have I don't know exactly what was going on behind the scenes. That's what she told me. This whole thing, the level of it's just vile, all through and through. It's absolutely vile. So anyways, that's about it for this video. I have another one here in 10 minutes that I'm going to do with you guys. So if you found this video interesting, go ahead and click the subscribe button below, and I would appreciate some super chats and support so I can do more of these videos for you guys. Otherwise, I will see you